Alright, mate, welcome to Mackie D's. What can I get you? Do you want extra cheese? In today's video I want to talk about what it was like for me working for McDonald's, because I used to work for McDonald's, believe it or not. It was my first legal job. It was the first job I was on the books for, and no, I wasn't a drug dealer. I just used to work like when I was like 16, I worked in the gym, I worked doing carpets, but McDonald's was my first legal job when I was 17. I think I was 17 when I joined McDonald's. And where else better to start than the start of the story? So I was 17, I think, or maybe 16, just about to turn 17. I got the interview. Obviously I applied online through the website, got the interview. So I was thinking, I had no money at the time, I was skint, I was broke, and I was trying to think of a way to myself, how can I go to this interview when I can't afford to buy clothes to go to the interview? So what I decided in the end was I got a denim jacket. It's like a black denim jacket, jeans. I wore trainees, sports trainers, and a button-up shirt with a tie. So I get all suited and booted. I'm like that, waddle into McDonald's. I get to McDonald's. I'm like, hi, I'm here for the interview. They had a girl beside me. They had this lad sat in front of me, and I looked left, seen the girl, looked at the guy, and straight away I was thinking, I've got this job. The girl, without sounding like an asshole, looked rough. She didn't look like the type of person you'd want to be served by in a McDonald's. The guy just seemed like he didn't want to be there. He came out, the guy, after he'd interviewed those two. They were before me, and he looked at me and was like, Liam? Yeah. So then I got up, go in with him, sit down. He's like, tell me about yourself. Strategic move for the man interviewing someone. Tell me about you. I was just said, well, I get on with people. I'm quite a good people's person. Sometimes maybe a little bit too much. Said sometimes I'm a bit too friendly. And he was like, I like that. He was like, I like that. You'll get on very well here. I didn't. I didn't. I got the job. He told me there and then. He was like, look, you're going to get this job. What size clothes are you? He started asking me all these things. It's not very rare these days for someone to just give you the job on the off. He just said, yeah, you've got the job. How can you when can you start working? It was a 0-hour contract, keep in mind, which I know now is the devil. Do not do a 0-hour contract. So skip forward a week. I've got my first day. I go in, they put me on, I think they were putting me on the line, they call it, where you do the salad onto the burgers. And you've got this big, right in front of you, you've got this big board that's got all the things on it. All the what would you, how do you describe it? The descriptions of the burgers and what's on them. So you look up and you look for the burger you're making. Yeah, I'm making a Big Mac. And then it'll tell you the instructions on how to make the Big Mac. So I was looking up, but little did I know, the guy who was beside me, who was way older than me, double my age, was supposed to be helping me. I'm not meant to be looking up at that board. It's too much, too quick, it's too slow. You're meant to just quickly memorise it, and then over they say over a few days you'll get used to it. You'll get a burger, you'll know what to put on it. But I didn't, so I'm trying to read these things. I'm looking up and I'm like, ah! And this guy's just stood there, face like thunder. It looks like it. I was like, ugh, trying, and then the manager comes around and she's like, and at McDonald's for some reason there's 5 managers. I thought there was one. The guy who interviewed me was a really nice fucking guy. He was a down to earth, super nice guy. I thought everything was hunky dory. She comes around, this manager, and she's like, I'm not being funny, but this line's taking ages. So this guy turns around, he's like, we've got the new guy with us. This is not the guy who stood next to me. Someone else goes, we've got this new lad here with us. She comes over and says, are you new? I said, yeah. Got a big badge, says trainee. like something off SpongeBob, a big gold letters. I think I still have it. Hang on, I think I still have it somewhere. Right, I did have it. I don't have it now, but I did have it somewhere in my house. But I had this big badge that says trainee. She's like, "Are you new?" I said, "Yeah." She looks at the guy beside me and she's like, "Let's call him Frank. Frank, for purposes." She says, "Frank, you've got this new guy with you, and you've just been leaving him there. Does not know what he's doing." And he turns, he looks at me, looks at the woman and goes, "Well, maybe you shouldn't fucking put new people with me." So I'm like, looking at her and him, and I'm like, I'm here, you know, I'm a person. So she has a little go at him. He starts getting a bit mouthy, so she takes him in the back. So now it's just me on this line. Struggled for the first, say, 45 minutes, and then I started getting used to it. You know, it but through. Had a few blips here and there. The woman kept coming and saying, like, come on, mate, you can do it. So I'm like, Mackies are awful at training people, by the way. It's abysmal. They just throw you in. They don't teach you anything. They just learn on the job. I got it eventually. I don't know how long I worked there or not, but I got it eventually. So she's wham. So a few days pass. I work with this other guy, this other lad who's training me, and he's the nicest guy in the world. Let's call him Tom. We'll call him Tom. Tom's like caring. He's like, "Don't worry, mate, you'll get it one day." He's doing it for me. He's doing it for me. Like, I'm not saying I couldn't do it. He was doing it for me, because he wasn't. He was teaching me how to do it along the way. So by the end of the shift, me and Tom were like this. We're working like a unit. Everything's just coming through. And then along comes our friend to start his shift. I'd been there now maybe a week, and in comes Frank. Face like thunder, covered in rain, because he's been caught in the rain. And he comes in, and he clocks in, goes in the back, comes up. But they come out and they're like, "What's going on? Where's Frank?" I'm like, "I don't know. I've just started. I don't know." So she runs into the break room, goes and gets him. She's like, "You meant to start your shift half an hour ago. You've just been stood in there moseying around." He's like, "I just can't be arsed, and you've got me on with this new lad." I was like, "Oh my god. Me again? He's coming at me again for being new." So I'm on shift, he comes up. He goes round and he asks the whole kitchen, do they want a drink? You know, you get like little tiny cups during your shift, and you can fill them up and drink when you want to drink, just not too often. So he's like, "Do you want a drink?" And he doesn't ask me. Asks everyone but me. So I thought nothing of it. Then this guy behind me is like, "Do you want a drink, mate?" Yeah, and passes me as one. "You can have that. I'll go make myself one." He looks at it, he goes, "Frank, you're a dick. You're an asshole." So I'm stood there, that awkward thing. I'm stood next to him, like, literally shoulder to shoulder. I'm stood next to him with making burgers. And a burger has a problem with it. Obviously, it was me. I'd forgot to do something. She brings it over to the manager, the same woman, and goes, "You two are incapable of working together." She's like, you just don't get on. You just don't like each other." And I said, "I don't even know the guy. I really just do not know this man. He's just got a problem with me for no reason." And he looks like he doesn't say nothing. He just kind of grunts, walks off. The manager walks off, not him. The manager walks off. He looks at me and goes, "You need to stop messing up the burgers." I was like, I don't mean to." And he goes, "I'm surprised you can even get out of fucking bed in the morning and sort your clothes out." So I looked at him and I was like, and that's it then, my brain thought, who is this man? So I was like, "Who the fuck are you talking to?" He went, "What?" I said, "Who the fuck are you talking to?" I was like, "You sad fucking piece of shit." I was like, "The difference between me and you is you're like double my age and working the same fucking job as me." I said, "Get a fucking grip." And the whole team there didn't like him, and they all turned around because they heard me talking like that. And for some reason the managers weren't on the floor. They were out in the office, so no one heard it except everyone like froze and looked. And I was like, "Don't ever fucking speak to me like that." I was like, "Do you want to fucking go?" I'm like ready to fight this guy in the middle of fucking McDonald's. And like, he stood there. So I like got into his face a bit and was like, "Come on then, come on." And he just walks out. 20. I'm heated. Or like, I literally got like a little like a yeah of everyone. You like, go new guy. So I'm stood there like, what's going on? Why has no one said anything yet? And then the manager comes out and she's like, are you Liam? I was like, yeah. She's like, come here. Takes me into the office and says, Frank's left. He's come into the office, threw his toys out the pram, said you've just threatened him, and he's gone. He's gone home. So you're on your own for the rest of the shift now. You've got a 2-man job to do on your own. I said, that's fine. I can do that. She said, what's the problem with you and him? I said, I don't know. I said, I've just started. He keeps giving me grief. He keeps saying things to me. She said, was there anyone there? I said, the lad stood behind us. Said to him, you're out of order, leave him alone. She went and got this lad. He come in and backed me up. He said, yeah, to be fair, he keeps giving him grief. He's new. He doesn't know what he's doing. So she goes, okay, you can train him. He's like, me? Yeah, you can train him. And he was a nice lad. We'll call him Kyle. Kyle trained me. Kyle's a nice lad. Eventually I get the grips of the job. Me and Kyle are on most shifts together. Everyone's happy. And then along comes New Year's week. So before this I've been working like maybe 1-2 shifts a week. Like 6-8 hours, getting a little bit of money. We're talking like a small amount of money from the job. And then New Year's week comes along. So obviously you've got Christmas Eve, Boxing Day, New Year's Eve and New Year's Day. All really close. And now they've got me in 6 days a week, working 49 hours or something silly. I had like this ridiculous amount of shifts, all dead short together. So I went to my boss, the woman, and said, I can't do all these shifts. She was like, why? I said, I want to have a Christmas. You can't just punk me in for all the holidays because no one else will do them. She said, well, you're 0-hour contract. That's what you're meant to do. And I said, no, that's not how it works. I said, I'm not coming in. I won't come in for one of those shifts. She was like, try it and see what happens. So I was like, wow, now the management are threatening me now. The management of like wanting to kick off. So comes the day. Worked Christmas Eve. Worked Boxing Day. Didn't work Christmas Day. Worked the day after. Worked New Year's Eve, got drunk the night of the New Year, and then didn't go in New Year's Day. So that was in the day after. Day comes and I walked in. I literally just got in, put my bag down, got my cap on, as I did. So I walk in like to the kitchen, and she's like, you in the back. It's like the office. So I'm like, so I went into the office. And she sat there, this manager, the woman. I said, I'm not coming in. If you like, I bet you I don't come in one of them days. Why didn't you come in? I just said, I wasn't well. I was sick. She went, you were sick? I said, yeah, what happened? I just weren't well. She said, you told me you weren't going to come in. I said, I know, yeah, but I just got sick that day. She was like, you can't do that. I was like, you can't put me in all those shifts, expect me to come in. So we had a bit of an argument back and forth. So she sent me home. I didn't end up doing my shift. She sent me home. She said, you can go home. Your attitude stinks. So I was like, fuck you. And I walked home. Like, it was like about a half an hour walk to McDonald's from my house. So I walked home. Went back the day after. And the nice manager, the guy who hired me, was on. He said, can I speak to you in the back a minute, mate? I was like, he went, what? And I went, you man, just keep pulling me in that back every time I'm on for some reason or another. He said, just come in the back to have a talk. So he makes me a cup of tea. He's like, don't bother going out to the shop, to like the floor to cook. He was like, don't bother today. I want you to stay in here with me, do your training on the computer and talk to me. So throughout the day, he's asking me, he was a nice fucking guy, he was by far the best manager there. Throughout the day, he's asking me like, I've been getting on with anyone? Who are my friends? Do I know anyone before I joined? I didn't. Do I, what time do I like working? All things that he was trying to work me out as a worker. What do I like, sort of thing. So then I said, okay, yeah. He goes, would you like to work a morning shift? Do you want to come in early hours of the day, like 5-6 o'clock in the morning? So I said, I'll give it a go. So he brings me in at 5 o'clock in the morning till 5 o'clock in the afternoon. 12-hour shift. So I came in, he was on, he made me a cup of coffee, we were sitting talking, then I went and did my shift. Fine, it was great, brilliant. Made a new friend on the shift. And then the day after comes along and I go in. I've been working there, I think, 2-3 months at this point. I walk into my shift, and they're like, today we're going to put you on the grill. We're going to get you to cook the burgers. So the process to cooking the burgers is you put them all down, they're frozen, you place them all down in like sections, rows, free. It's just you. And then you press 2 buttons, and these big things, like what you're cooking, you press the button of what you're cooking. And these big like things fold down, cook the burgers in the middle. Of course, I throw these burgers on, bang, the cooking, and then once they're done, it lifts up, and you've got like a limited amount of time to get everything off, and then you've got to like season them, obviously, and then you pass them on to then they take them and put them on burgers. So I'm doing it, and it's hard. It's hard. It's my first time doing it. I'm struggling a little bit, but I'm trying. I'm getting the hang of it gradually over the shift. And I turned around to the manager and was like, that was hard. That was really hard. And he was like, okay, we'll keep that in consideration. So I go in the day after, and straight away they put me back on the grill. He's like, you need to get, like, it wasn't him on, it was the woman. She's like, he said yesterday, she's like, I don't care what the other manager said, I'm not him. So this woman was a fucking bitch. She was horrible. She was nasty. She was a real piece of work. She's like, I don't care. Throws me on anyway, so I'm stood there and I'm kind of like, and I'm slow again. I'm still getting used to it. Then after a amount of time, I kept messing up. I kept like forgetting to season them, or at some point I just wasn't doing it because I wasn't enjoying myself. I was just kind of like, ugh, I'm just throwing them on as quick as I can because I was slow. They were moaning, all the staff were moaning at me, saying, come on, hurry up. So in the end I just started throwing the burgers on. And she comes over to me and is like, you need to book your ideas up. I was like, I'm trying. I was like, I'm struggling, but I'm trying. So she walks off, and then this new manager, I'd never met him before, comes over, quite burly guy, comes up to me and says, did you make these? And shows me this like plate of burgers, like, you know, in the weird plastic thing. And so I'm like, yeah. He looks at me badge and goes, are you new? I went, yeah. And he, no shit, slams the plastic thing into my chest, like, and then goes, make them again. So I looked down at them, he turned his back, and I went, nah. And he turned around, like he'd seen a ghost, and I was like, he went, what? I said, no, I'm not making them again. He's like, you'll do as I tell you. And I went, no, I won't. I go, what? And I took off my apron, plastic apron, threw it in the bin, took off my apron, threw it on the floor. And he was like, what are you doing? I said, yeah. I took my cap off and slung it to him, and he caught it, and I was like, I quit. And at this point he's just staring at me. I was like, I quit. What do you mean? You can't just go away. I watch. Got me bag. And he's like, if you walk out that, and I was just walking out. I wasn't even listening to him. So I walked out. I walked to my dad's work, which was like 15 minutes away. Sat there and was like, yeah, I quit. I quit my job, Dad. He was like, you quit your job? I said, yeah, I quit my job. I just walked out. He was like, you're an idiot. You're a fool. Why have you done that? I said, it doesn't bring in that much money anyway. That's not the point, son. That's not the point. You've just walked out of a job. I said, yeah, I did. Oh well. You know, I got home, my brother went mad at me. He was like, you're irresponsible, you're this, you're that. And then that day, we went to the place where I work now. Not the same brand, different shop. I'm not going to disclose nothing like that. Went to that shop, and he goes to their manager, and luckily their area manager, like the big manager, was there that day. Says, and my dad knows this woman quite well, says, can you get a job for my son? How old is he? Turns 18 in about 2 weeks. She's like, okay. No, sorry, I wasn't. They turned 18. Yeah, I must have been 17 when I was at McDonald's. So he goes, he turns 18 in like a few weeks. She's like, she looks at me and goes, if you had to work in one of these 3 places, where would you work? Told her. She said, okay. We've got vacancies in those 3 places. My dad's like, who's the manager there? She tells him. My dad knows this guy. I'll have a word with him, see what he says. So my dad rings him. He says, yeah, I'll interview your son. And a long time later, I work the place I work now. I've worked there for nearly 3 years. 3 years now I've nearly worked there. And it's, honestly, it's a relief. my advice for this video, if you didn't already guess it, is don't work for McDonald's. It's a fucking crap company to work for. The staff are rude, the customers are rude, and I was getting paid like £4 an hour because I was young. It's just cheap, easy labour. That's why they hire young people. It's sad in a way. If you do work at McDonald's and enjoy it, that's brilliant, that's fine. I'm glad you enjoy the job. But me personally, it wasn't for me at all. It just felt like one big lump of my life gone. Working this horrible job. I used to get cuts and burns, slipping on the floor. It's just not an environment for me. And I like cooking, I love cooking, but not like that. Fast food, it's not fast food, it's just vile food. But thanks for watching, guys. I've been GilloBoiJr. I hope you enjoyed this little story. Bye bye now.